Hello and welcome back to Pseudo Gameplay TV. I'm your host Pseudo. We're back into Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3 for another character spotlight. And today's character, continuing down our list in releasing these alphabetically, is none other than the Phantom Rider himself, Ghost Rider. Now there have been a lot of different iterations of Ghost Rider in the comics. The more well-known ones from recent adaptations, both cinematic and TV show-wise, are the interpretations of Nicolas Cage's Johnny Blaze and the Robbie Reyes variant of Ghost Rider, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This character, or this rendition of Ghost Rider, is the more well-known Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. However, it is notable that the Spirit of Vengeance that possesses Ghost Rider, or the demon Zarathos, is the character or the component responsible for Johnny Blaze's ability as Ghost Rider. There is quite a laundry list of things that he's capable of doing canonically, which includes superhuman strength, agility, stamina, reflexes, speed, endurance, and durability, as well as proficient hand-to-hand combat, being an highly experienced motorcyclist, invulnerability to any kind of fire, the ability to project regular and ethereal flames, the ability to travel between interdimensional realms and along any surface, immortality, the penance stare, which is kind of his trump card for dispatching of the most vile of villains, and finally, resurrection, riding a flaming motorcycle, wielding an enchanted chain, conjuring a bike using hellfire, wielding shotguns that can produce hellfire, and regeneration. Now, that's a lot of generic abilities, and of course they couldn't fit all of those into this character description, but let's have a look at what they were able to include and then showcase what it's like to use Ghost Rider and if you'd like to add him to your team. Now, you do obtain Ghost Rider at a fairly late stage of the game, but he does come with all of his abilities already unlocked and ready for you to use. So, jumping into that, we see the abilities first in terms of the Blazing Skull, where Ghost Rider will release a huge wave of flames in the direction the character is facing. So kind of a conical or line type breath weapon attack of flames that can be manipulated with some directional input. The second ability is the Raging Inferno, where Ghost Rider hits the ground underneath himself and releases multiple pillars of flames in the direction that he is facing. Again, a fire type attack, but all of these special moves have a lot of fire capability to them. The third ability that we have here is the Hellfire Chain, where Ghost Rider will swing a burning chain and attack enemies in the vicinity. So this has more of a sweeping arc or possibly a spherical type area of attack. And the fourth and final ability that he has to his use and disposal is the Hell Cycle, where Ghost Rider will race a burning motorcycle into his enemies. He also has his ultimate ability that we'll showcase as well. And the team synergy that we've built today is to maximize Ghost Rider's personal synergies. He only has 4 that can be obtained, but we do get all of those with Thor, Elsa Bloodstone, and Black Panther. So without further ado, let's jump into a rift and showcase what Ghost Rider can do and what it's like to use him.
Here comes the next wave.
Now, Ghost Rider has a singular jump instead of the double jumps or fly type abilities that we've seen from other characters. So that is important to keep in mind as you use him for traversal between the different plot points and story elements. His light attacks, he lashes out with this chain in kind of a cone type area in front of him, able to affect multiple opponents at once, which is nice. And the heavy attack is more akin to a move that we've seen from a couple of other characters, mainly in the Let's Play series. So keep that in mind for future characters that we'll showcase. Now, we also want to make sure that we showcase his aerial attack, which is just kind of a jump and then slam back down. Pretty basic, but does have an element of knockback to it, which is beneficial. Now for his stock abilities, we will start off with the Blazing Skull. A line of fire, again, has some element of directional influence that can be applied. And do note that if you can leave kind of a persistent flame on the opponents you're dealing with, they will take some damage over time, though it's not a sizable amount. Now, his second ability, the Raging Inferno, it kind of goes out in almost 180 degrees in front of Ghost Rider, so very good for clearing some space if you find yourself kind of surrounded by a vast expanse of your opponents. Let's use some basic attacks to build up some more of our stagger bar. And more of our special meter, I should say. And then we'll showcase the Hellfire Chain. And this Hellfire Chain is more of a circular type attack, but it is very efficient at attacking multiple areas and leaving fire damage for those characters in their wake. And for Ghost Rider's fourth and final ability, we have the Hell Cycle, which I summoned before that guy knocked me off of it. And this will charge forward in a straight line, so it's not influenceable in terms of how it's used. But what is manipulable as you use it is
Pay for your sins.
the Hell Cycle, as he will drive around in a little bit of a circle you can influence right at the start, not by a whole lot, and then jump back up into the air and crash down on top of the opponents in the area. So Ghost Rider is more of a melee character with some extended melee type abilities. And with some extended melee attacks. Now we're going to want to scoop up some of this health to get back on our feet here. And that'll get us topped off quite nicely.
Pay for your sins.
So he will again encircle some of the enemies directly in front of him, and then rise up into the ground and crash down on top. Quite a good mass damage dealer in that regard. And again, important to remember that his attacks will allow for some persistent or lingering damage with that flame. Coming up on the last couple of kills that we'll need to finish up the task here. But Ghost Rider is quite a fun character, and I would highly recommend using him, even though he unlocks a little bit later in the game. So, thanks again for tuning in. Ghost Rider, again, ton of fun, really recommend him. There's not a whole lot of mediums where he is a playable character, so this is a very fair representation of the character and quite fun to use. So, thanks again for tuning in. Be sure to leave a comment down below of what you're excited to see next in any of my series, and be sure to subscribe for more. So thanks again, and you have a great rest of your day.